important role, and I look forward to seeing each and every one of you out in Salt Lake City in just a couple of weeks. And now, Ronnie, back to you.
Thank you, Jody. At this time, we're going to move to the National Council proposals. This slide shows you Proposal 1, which has to do with the flexibility of dues and our registration practices. Our Constitution references two types of membership dues category currently, and that's annual and lifetime. So this proposal would allow for future flexibility. What it really does is enable GSUSA to align our membership categories and dues with what they would consider membership trends and needs. So the real intention is just to build some flexibility into the wording. And this proposal is coming from the task group to study the national dues structure and is endorsed by the National Board of Directors. So what I would like to do is to wait until I introduce the other two proposals and then offer you the opportunity to discuss any of the three proposals. So hold on to any questions, and we're going to move to Proposal 2. Proposal 2 has to do with the reporting relationship of the Chief Financial Officer. So our current governing documents have reflected the practice of having the National CFO report to the National Board. This is an outdated practice which is being recommended for change. Most nonprofits have one executive that is appointed by the board, the CEO, and all other staff report to the CEO. So this proposal comes from the National Board and is being recommended for approval by the board just to bring us into alignment with other national nonprofits. The third proposal has to do with the role of past presidents. Our current governing documents state that all past presidents remain as members of the National Board. Now, this is no longer practical and is out of sync with other nonprofits. This proposal is coming from the National Board, and they recommend adoption of this proposal. So at this time, we're going to take a minute to ask you if you have any questions and to allow you to unmute yourself. If you do, if you have questions or comments you'd like to make about any of the three proposals. And we'll just try to do this in an organized fashion. So does anyone have or a statement?
Can they also use the chat feature?
You can, yes, you can also use the chat feature, and you can write your question also, and we will try to track those. Any questions or comments? I'm going to give you a chance, a minute to think it through. No? If there are none, we can wait. Maybe you'll think of one and you can ask it at the end. So, the next part, and you can stay unmuted if it's quiet there, that's okay, because we're going to give you another opportunity. If we move to the outdoor discussion, one of the documents that we sent you was our own council's philosophy on property and outdoor education, and we've tried to put on this screen the questions that have been asked of our members in preparation for this discussion. So what we're asking you to do is to be familiar with the document that we sent you. This may help you to influence some of the discussion in a positive manner. There will be delegates coming to this convention prepared to bring up issues around camp sales around the country, we believe. And I ask you to help keep the discussion on outdoor education at the level that these questions on your screen are. We love our camps, but we know that it's sometimes necessary to sell property if it's not being used, or councils can't afford the number of camps that they own. So the discussion that is being sought is about the importance of outdoor education in Girl Scouting, and you can see that in the questions on the screen. We've communicated these questions to our membership at the request of GSUSA in preparation for this discussion. Hopefully you've previously seen these questions and you had the opportunity to give input, whether that was through an e-newsletter or our website, or it was they were distributed through service unit meetings. This agenda item will actually show up twice during business meetings, both on Friday and on Saturday. There will also be additional time on Saturday for those who want to further discuss the issues. So at this time, I'd like to open up for questions or comments. Does anybody have anything they'd like to discuss about the outdoor discussion? It's awfully quiet out there. Anybody have anything they want to say?
I just got here, but no.
Okay. Catherine. No questions about the outdoor discussion? If not, then I'm going to ask you all to please mute your phones. And we're going to move to a fun discussion about tweeting at the convention. So can everybody please mute your phones? Thank you. So at this time, I'm going to bring Autumn Heisler to the phone to share some information about how we would like to keep the buzz alive about the convention. So if we could move to the next screen, and I'm going to turn it over to Autumn.
Thanks, Ronnie. Hi, everybody. Previously with the meeting request, you would have received a PDF, which was a Twitter cheat sheet, and if you haven't had time to look over it, that's okay. You can look it over before the convention. But what we're asking our staff and delegates and volunteers and hopefully some of the girls who are attending to do is share the highlights of information or photos of different things happening at the convention with those of us who wouldn't be able to attend. So we just kind of want to share information and kind of get the buzz going and really participate in the online conversation that GSUSA is starting. So for those of you who did look it over and would have had a chance already to set up an account, I'm just going to walk you through briefly how to tweet. And then the sheet does go over it in more detail, and of course my information is on there as well, so for anybody who needs help setting anything up, you're welcome to send me an email or call me, and I'm happy to help you. So on the first slide, you'll see that the first step to tweeting is to click on the Compose a New Tweet button, which is the top right corner of the navigation bar. So you'll see on either screen, if you're on your profile or if you're in your timeline, it's that one that looks like a feather pen in the top right. So you'll go ahead and click that first. And then a screen will come up where you'll be able to type your tweet in. So there's an option to add a photo, so you can either click on the camera button to take a new photo, or you'll be able to look at the photos you've already taken on your phone and choose that. And then you'll be able to click in the area that says what's happening, and you'll see a cursor come up just like you would on a Word document or an email or any other thing you were typing. And you'll be able to start typing what's happening or whatever information you'd like to share from the convention. So an example that you can see up there is we can't wait for hashtag GSC14, and that is the hashtag that the convention is using that GSUSA has given us. So by using that, you will be able to share what you're learning with everyone else who isn't there, and then also with people who are there as well. So it kind of just connects all of the conversation together. So once you've typed that in and you have everything that you'd like to say, you'll be able to click the tweet button, which is the blue button in the top right corner. And then you've completed it, and it will be shared with the public and anyone who looks up that hashtag. So that's kind of the basic of it. And again, if you have any questions, I'm happy to help. And the sheet kind of goes through it in a little more detail to help you understand some of the terminology or the basics if you're not familiar.
Thank you, Autumn. And we will have staff at the convention able to help you if you have questions. Now, some of us are not as good as others. We've been practicing, so I think it'll be fun. It's a new skill for some people. So moving along, just so we can keep together, I wanted to now talk a little bit about the logistics of our trip. So Darlene will be our sweet host. She's the Director of Regional Services in Dayton, and I know she's going to take good care of us. You may want to make sure you have her cell phone, which is listed on this slide, in your phone during the convention. So we're getting a lot of feedback from someone, so if you could all make sure that your phones are muted, it would be helpful. We will also send Darlene's phone number out to you prior to the meeting so that you have that. So moving to the next slide, I just want to hit the highlights of some of the logistics. Most of you, or you all probably know, we will be at the Hilton Salt Lake City Center. That's our hotel. We will have a suite in that hotel. We will use it for group meetings and gatherings. We will have snacks and, water and soft drinks there. We may arrange for lunch it says voting members, but really anybody is welcome if we need it. We do have a little extra time built into this convention schedule, so people may want to go to the exhibit hall instead or something. We will provide a continental breakfast each morning for those people that want it. As far as assignments, you should have already received this, and if you have questions about this, we ask you to please contact Cheryl Drennan. And I just want to go back to the suite and say, just so you know, the suite is for everyone. All of our delegates, our visitors, our alternate delegates, anybody who's part of our delegation is welcome to come at any time to our suite. The next slide just is about uniforms. If you have not been to the convention before, you need to know that uniforms are required for all voting members and visitors during business sessions. And you probably know that the official uniform is the navy business attire and a whiter cream top worn with the official scarf and membership pins. And just as a reminder, all Girl Scout uniforms, once official, are considered official, regardless of style. You just need to make sure you're not mixing components from one uniform to another, and that no one's wearing a girl uniform, except girls. The next one, transportation from the airport. We do ask you to try to share rides. There is a shuttle available. There are also taxis available. And we will be, are we providing them information on who else is traveling with them at the same time, so you should be able to share rides. As for expenses for delegates and alternate delegates who need assistance with meal expenses, we will cover up to $150. You're asked to submit a written request, and make sure you keep your receipts because we do need those. Visitors will be sent a bill following the meeting for your hotel expenses. And then a couple reminders, if you have not seen the tote bag, we do have a messenger bag, tote bag that's available for, it's very nominal price. What is it, the $10 or so that will be helpful as you're going back and forth between your hotel room and the convention site. You may want that, and it says Girl Scouts of Western Ohio on it. Dinner Friday evening, we've arranged for a dinner of our own delegation at, I think it's called Faustina Restaurant. It is being hosted by our board of directors, which they were very generous in providing support for this dinner. And Darlene will provide directions and any help with transportation once we get on site. We're not really sure whether it's within walking distance. We believe it is. But if anybody needs assistance with a taxi, we'll be able to take care of that. Communication on site will be by email and text, so we want to make sure we have your correct email address and your cell phone number. If you have not provided that to Cheryl Drennan, please do so. Official convention credentials are required at all times to be admitted into the convention hall, and they will not let you in if you don't have your credentials on you. And that's for the convention hall, the exhibit hall, and any other official location. And the other thing is, if you have not downloaded the app to your smartphone, I encourage you to do that. They've got up-to-date information about the convention. Each day it gets updated. And they also, during the convention, I think that they'll be using that quite a bit. And you can look up people, you can see who else is going to be at the convention. Lots of things you can look for. So at this time, we are here to find out if there are any final questions or comments. I want to thank you all for being delegates, and we're looking forward to seeing all of you in Salt Lake City. So if anybody has any questions, please feel free to unmute yourself, and it's time to ask questions. or comments? Any questions?
No?
Okay. I'll give it one more
Ronnie,
second.
Ronnie.
Anybody?
Yeah,
Yes,
Ronnie,
Jody.
How will we know where the suite is located?
That's a very good question, Jody. Be sure you have Darlene's phone number because she will be checking in the suite on Thursday afternoon. And so you will need to call her, and we will try to get a message out to people. We can do an email or a text to people when we are able to get in, because right now we don't know whether we'll be able to check in early or whether they'll make us wait until 3 or 4 o'clock to check in. But as soon as we're able to get in the room, delegates or anybody in our delegation is welcome to come into the suite. So make sure you have Darlene's. Can you scroll back to that screen, Cheryl? We can try to get to that again, but we will send you that also. But that's Darlene's cell phone.
Okay. And I know that because you're going to have our text and our phone numbers and whatnot, you can communicate with us that way. But will there also be some kind of communication, I guess, at the suite to keep everyone aware of, yeah, we're going to order lunch today, or no, we're not, or I don't know, what time our dinner is Friday, all those kind of details?
We will try to do that by email and text. And we can post messages to the suite.
This is Darlene. Ronnie, I can do that. I can send out like a mass text to the phone list that I have.
Right. Okay, thanks, Darlene. Is that okay, Jody? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, that's okay. I would just say to you, with the new Apple operating system and whatnot, I've been having some phone troubles, and I don't know if anyone else has. So hopefully it'll be worked out by the time we get to convention.
Okay, and we can, we will kind of remind people about the flow of the day when we're at breakfast together, too. So we can make sure we post some of that information or announce that at breakfast.
Great.
Anything
I have a question.
Okay.
I do understand that you can pick up the registration packets on Wednesday, though. Is that correct? That's what I was reading on the information sheet. This is Beverly Miner.
Hi, Beverly. We only the council can pick up the credentials.
Okay.
So we will be picking those up
Between 5 and 7.
between 5 and 7 on Wednesday, right?
Mm-hmm.
Actually, hi, it's Erin. I'm going to pick up the credentials. I'm going to pick up the credentials earlier, and so people will be able to reach me and get them on Wednesday between 5 and 7 from me.
Okay. And that information is on the info sheet that Cheryl Drennan sent.
Right, and it has Erin's phone number, correct?
Yes, it does. So you will be able to contact Erin to get it, but you really don't need it until the official opening. I think the exhibit hall opens like at noon or 1 o'clock on Thursday, right? And so that's the first thing that you will need the credentials.
Except I have a historians meeting in the morning, so I'd like to be able to at least have it before I head for that, so.
Okay. Well, then you can try to make arrangements with Erin.
Okay, I will do that. Thank you.
Sure. Other questions? No? If not, then we will close this meeting, and thank you all for being on this call, and thank you for all for being delegates. We're looking forward to seeing you. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Ronnie.
Thank you.